Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. You still have to engage her. You know what? And this is a very important part of the game, right? This is a very important part of the game, and I'm using game as a reference because, the game of man gets women. You still have to engage her because I see a lot of guys, they focus a lot on the bait. They focus a lot on the bait. And I'll say myself, I talk about the bait myself. The body game is bait, And even when you talk about style, that's bait. Or even when people are talking about money and status, that's bait. If you're talking about looks, that's bait. And, whatever bait you want to use, it does have an work. Even if people got some criticisms of any of the baits, they work for somebody. Or at least, there's different degrees on how they work and everything, right? But the bait, okay, you got the bait. It's like you fishing. You got that worm or whatever you have on there on that hook. You still got to hook them. And in this case, you still got to engage them because I've seen too many instances all through, since I was young. Dudes not really engaging the women. Or they sitting around and they not talking to them. They not approaching them. Like, let me say about that approach thing, because there's always a big argument, approach, don't approach, and all of that. Only a small percentage of men will regularly get approached by women. Those are usually the alpha show pieces. And, when I mention alpha show piece, of course, that comes from Cousin T-Talk. The expert, the originator, he actually said, Ron, you being generous with that 5%. It's actually 1%. So that means 99% of men going to still have to approach a woman. That's just a reality, yo. That's just a reality. And even when they choose you, even when a woman chooses you, all the choice just means she's just opening the door. She's interested. Even then, they might not approach you. They'll just look. They'll look at you. Or they'll do something, walk in your path, put themselves in your proximity in order to get your attention. You still have to approach her. And like say, even when she approaches you, say you in that rare air, that rare category where the women approaching you, you still got to talk about something. You still got to engage her. Because there's many a time when women will say, oh yeah, he looked good, until he opened his mouth. You still have to do it. And I think a lot of guys have gotten caught up into the bait, or some of them ain't even caught up into the bait. There's a lot of guys who use that as an excuse why they don't approach women. They shy, they socially awkward, something. But instead of just saying, you know what, I need to deal with this social awkwardness or something, they'll say, well, I'm waiting for them to approach. Man, I'm like, please. If you ain't an alpha showpiece, and when I say alpha showpiece, if you ain't some real muscular dude, real muscular, stylish, good looking dude, shit, it ain't happening. And like I said, even with them, you still got to engage them. You still got to talk. Very few men can walk anywhere, even among the alpha showpieces, and then a woman's just going to approach, and they just got some stupidity coming out their mouth or something, or can't talk, and the woman's still going to fuck them. The level of rareness there is incredible. I'm serious. The level of rareness there is, I can't think of too many instances. You got to do something. There's a few. I can count the number of instances that I've heard of, and it came from people that I've known personally and might have seen maybe on two hands. And that's going back until, that's going back into the 70s. But everybody else, you still have to engage them. You still got to make that connection to a woman. And that, I'm going to tell you what, that's what you see with a lot of true players. And even if they're not, drop dead handsome or, got money and status and average style, a lot of times the thing is, all they doing is just talking to the women. Seriously, if you look at a lot of them, because you got some guys, you can even get some guys who are homely, but then still have the charisma of 10 men. And the key is they engage in a woman. And in fact, part of how that works for them, even if they average looking, average dresser, no money or status, anything like that, that works because that's a key piece. That's part of that charisma piece I talk about. That's part of that charisma piece. Like, and what'll happen is this. The average person approaches the woman, right? You know, at first she look at him and say, he ain't nothing to write home about. But if he's smart, he'll just maximize what he got. Then he'll talk. She'll engage her. They laughing. You know, he getting her interest. He can actually take it to a point where she has very little interest, to a point where she got a lot of interest. And see, a funny thing happens. Once he engages her, that affects her emotion. Understand something. A woman's womb and their emotions are connected. That's why when women, when they choose a man, when they're interested in a man, it's because they sexually interested, even if it's small. And, usually their womb will inform who they become sexually interested in and emotionally attached to, but it could work the other way around because they're connected. You just going through a different door. So what happens when that man engages them emotionally? And, and this is something that the pimps and the preachers know. The pimps and the preachers know that's how they be getting the women. You look at them, they ain't all that, but they engage them emotionally. And then what'll happen is, because the physical part, the visual part is still important. Women will start looking for, you engage them emotionally, they'll start looking for the good looking things on you. They might be like, oh, his overall face is average, but he got nice eyes. Oh, wow, he got a great smile. Oh, he got a good cologne. They start looking for stuff on you to like. They'll start looking then. It's like, oh, he's great. They laugh, and it's like, he ain't that bad. It's like psychologically it hits them. It's like, oh, wow. They're very, they're this or that. Very important to know. You still, seriously. And a lot of guys got to get past some of the stuff. Because I'm seeing too many guys, they don't want to engage. And yes, of course, there's some guys, even some commenters, who going to usually get the women like that, who's going to approach. But they're that alpha showpiece level, But like I said, you still got to engage her. And guys got to get over it. Get over it. Get over why they don't engage. If there's that fear, don't lie to yourself and say, well, I ain't engaging them because, they should be approaching me and all of that. I'm like, And also, too, with that, think about something. What if you see that drop dead fine woman who's hitting on all those cylinders that you like? Let me say that again. That you like. What you going to do? Sit there and wait for her? She might not. If she fine enough, she used to not doing that. You going to blow a chance? And I'm talking about one of those women that you'll be thinking about like months or years later. Because, hell, I can think of that. I remember I saw this one real fine woman at an airport back in 92. Back in 92. Like everything was just hitting on all cylinders for me. But I was in a cab passing by. And I'm still thinking, but, in real life, you see that. What you going to do? Sit there and wait? You still have to engage her. Even if she does approach you, you still got to talk about something. You can't get past that. I see a lot of dudes, they want to get past some basic stuff, but you think about it. Okay, you want to have sex with this woman. How's that going to happen? You ain't going to just walk up to her, you just stand there, and then she just grab your hand and y'all go someplace. Shit, you going to have to talk to her. You going to have to say something to her to get her to that point. You got to open the door. Because even if she's physically attracted to you, she's still at that point where she can get turned off, or as women say, instant dryness. If your engagement ain't right, if you real goofy or something. And I've seen so many dudes lose out on a woman that way because they just start engaging in a goofy way. But whatever the case, get out there. That's why I tell guys, get out there. Just talk to women. That's why I say, just every day, just say hi just to 3 women. Just hi. Because what it does, it builds up your ability just to engage on a consistent basis without, thinking about it too much. It becomes a natural part of your being. So, anyway, that's all I got for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.